Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Lacasa Yost, an instructional designer in the Academic Innovation Strategy and Design Department at Kirkwood Community College. Today, I'll be discussing improving learner accessibility with mainstream AI tools. I will be defining accessibility for the context of this presentation as taking advantage of embedded AI support that is readily available to all users, increasing universal access to digital and online content, improving the delivery of text, audio, and visual materials to all learners, promoting individual awareness of assistive elements. This is both proactive and helps develop a sense of independence. And in the context of mainstream AI, I will be defining that as popular and easily accessible online tools, tools that at most require an account but no form of payment, platforms already integrated into the workflows of many districts and institutions, AI chatbots and other features that do not require coding or any specialized technical knowledge, and finally, technologies that continue improving their functionality thanks in part to this being a period of great competition. The first platform we will look at is Google Gemini, and the first feature will be image to text. We now find ourselves in my Gemini account. What we are going to do is upload an image and ask Gemini to analyze it. So if we go to the chatbot and click on this icon, we can select an image from our laptop. In order for the model to analyze what we have uploaded, we need to provide some text. So in this particular case, I can write, I have difficulty seeing this image. Can you please tell me what is going on? I intentionally use the word please in my request because some studies have shown if you're nicer to large language models, they're nicer back. We can hit the enter button or we can click on the submit icon. And the animation that we see in association with the star means that the model is processing our request. And once that animation has stopped, we will have our final response. We can see that what Gemini has shared with us is the following. The image you sent me appears to be of a Daigo-ji temple in Kyoto, Japan. It is a Buddhist temple founded in the Shingon tradition. The temple complex includes a number of buildings, including a red pagoda that is the building you are likely referring to. And it continues on giving me information and some greater detail about what I have uploaded. We can continue our interaction and upload the image again. Unfortunately, Gemini does not maintain the context of a discussion regarding an image, so we need to include it one more time so it knows what to reference. And in this case, I could ask, what would be proper alt text for this picture? Alt text allows a description to be shared with users through assistive technology. Again, we wait for the prompt response, and please understand that sometimes due to network traffic, it might take the models a little bit longer than other times. Here we have at least 3 generated alt text examples from Gemini. And for our last example, we will upload the image one more time and enter the following. How could I best describe this image to someone who is visually impaired? We wait patiently. And here we have a description that we could share with someone who is visually impaired based upon Gemini's interpretation of the image that was shared. The next Gemini feature we will examine is speech to text. To engage Gemini's speech to text function, all we have to do is click on the microphone icon in the chatbot, speak into the microphone, and then once we are finished, click the enter button or the submit icon. Can you please explain to me the process of photosynthesis and keep your description to 2 to 5 sentences in length? Thank you. And here we have our response. Next, we will look at Gemini's feature of text to speech. In order for Gemini's text to speech function to work, we have to enter a query into the chatbot and receive a response first. So in this case, we will click on the microphone and ask our question. Can you please explain to me the concept of gravity? Once the animation has stopped, that means that our prompt has been responded to in its entirety, and that allows us the ability to then have this read to us. How we can do that is by clicking on this audio icon right here, and this will allow us to listen to what has been generated.
Absolutely. Here's an explanation of gravity. Gravity, the invisible force. What is gravity? Gravity is a fundamental force of nature that attracts all things with mass towards each other. It's what keeps us from floating off into space and what makes the planets orbit the sun.
You will also notice that once our prompt response has been generated, we have the ability to look at different drafts. And every time you enter something into the chatbot, we will see that Gemini provides us with multiple drafts simultaneously. So if we click on Show Drafts, we will typically see between 2 and 3 different variations of the prompt response. A different wording, a different tone, a little different sense of speaking, and we can see that here. And if you'd like to look at any of these drafts, you simply click on them. These also can be read once all of this has been completed in terms of the process of generating the prompt response. You can see that here. So we could listen to that as well. If we're not happy with any 4 of these drafts, we can click on Regenerate Drafts, and 4 more will be generated for us. And this is a nice feature because it gives you some options in terms of choosing from what the model has decided to share with you. Another assistive feature of Gemini are what I refer to as general assistive supports. One of my favorite assistive supports is what is referred to as live captions. And we can access those or engage those by going up here to the 3-dot vertical bar to engage settings. And once the settings tab or menu has appeared, if we scroll down and click on accessibility, there is an option up at the top, live caption. If we click on that, we can see that we have the default language set as English. You can change this, but there aren't very many options at the time currently. French, German, and Italian are your other choices. And we will keep this as English. What this means now is if audio or video with audio is shared through Gemini, automatically captions will be created for us. And we will take a look at that here by examining this YouTube video.
So, anyone who's been paying attention for the last few months has been seeing headlines like this, especially in education. The thesis has been students are going to be using ChatGPT and other forms of AI to cheat, do their assignments. They're not going to learn, and it's going to completely undermine education as we know it. Now, what I'm going to argue today is not only are there ways to mitigate all of that. If we put the right guardrails, we do the right things, we can mitigate it. But I think we're at the cusp of using AI for probably the biggest positive transformation that education has ever seen.
If you wish to disengage this, you can change the settings, or you can click the small X icon in the upper right-hand corner so that they disappear. We are now going to switch platforms and look at what Microsoft Copilot can do. And the first function that we will address is image to text. We now find ourselves in Microsoft Edge. We are in this browser because this is the only browser that supports Copilot. And to engage Copilot, we simply click on this icon in the upper right-hand corner. As with Gemini, we have the ability to directly upload an image so that the AI model can analyze it. Of course, we would add text so that the model would know what we want it to do in relationship to the image for us. But another nice feature of Copilot is the ability to actually capture from the screen an image that you would like it to analyze through its screenshot feature, where you would click on this icon and then have the ability to capture an image and approve of it, and then ask the model to engage with it. As with Gemini, Copilot has the function of speech to text. To engage Copilot's speech to text feature, we do the same thing we did in Gemini. We click on the microphone icon, speak into the microphone, and then submit our prompt. Can you please summarize for me the rules for Cricket? The animation of the jumping dots indicates that the model is processing our request, and you can see now that it is generating a response. Sure, I can give you a brief summary of the rules for cricket. Cricket is a sport played by two teams of 11 players on an oval field with a rectangular pitch in the middle. And the description continues. What we will notice is once the prompt has been responded to in its entirety, we do not have the ability to have this information read back to us. And something else that is distinct in Copilot is that once the summary has been generated again in its entirety, it will automatically present to us some general sources that we could refer to. What we will examine next in Copilot is in-browser functionality. My favorite feature of Microsoft Copilot is its ability to use the AI model to analyze anything that appears in the browser. But in order for that functionality to be engaged, we have to change the sidebar settings. So if we click on the 3-dot bar that is horizontal in this case, not vertical, and we go to settings, if we click on settings again and focus on the sidebar, what we want to do is give Copilot the ability to analyze anything that appears on the page. So we click on Copilot, and then we change Allow Microsoft to access page content from no to yes. This makes the model amazingly functional. What this means is any material that we see here now in this browser on the left-hand side, the model can analyze. So I will simply ask it, what are the main points of this article? And it will be able to tell me. What it now is sharing are the main points of the article that were brought up in the browser. This is really quite impressive, at least to me. What this means is if you find an article or perhaps a PDF file, it will be able to answer any questions that you ask regarding that content. Furthermore, if you have a PDF file on your laptop, once this functionality has been engaged, you can right-click on the file, choose to open that file in Edge, and then once it is in the Edge browser, you can use the AI to analyze it. Now we will address Copilot's immersive reader functionality. To engage Copilot's immersive reader function, simply click the F9 key on your keyboard, and that allows you to take advantage of this icon. These are our immersive reader options. We can have the text read aloud to us. We can change the text preferences, and we also can change the reading preferences. Clicking Read Aloud will have the content of the page read to us.
Rents are falling. So why isn't that showing up in inflation data? Pandemic disruptions may have muddled the measurement of home prices in government data. That could complicate the Fed's course on interest rates.
Voice options allow us to change the speed with which the content is read, or also add an accent in terms of the voice of the reader. Under text preferences, we can change the text size, the text spacing, the font, the text column style, as well as the contrast between the text and the background. When it comes to reading preferences, we can help focus our reading by creating a line focus. We also can have the page translated to us. If by chance you click the F9 button and it does not work, you will notice that read : 2 forward slashes has been added in front of the URL. If that does not appear, you can type that in yourself to engage the functionality. In closing, I would like to say thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at laura.yost@kirkwood.edu and enjoy the conference.